Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. I'm your host Tony Arenas, and today in this video we're going to talk about the clipping mask. So the clipping mask is a great way to create a mask or a pocket within your Illustrator or your illustration to just kind of hide things, but you don't want to delete it just in case if you need to move it or if you just need to move things around. It's great with like creating patterns and then containing those patterns in a certain area, so that way you're not doing something crazy. So in this case, like we were in our previous video, we had these squares to go around with, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and group these together. So I'm going to go to my object group, and I do have a video dedicated to grouping and other layer accessories, and you can see all of that there. So the main thing is you want to decide what your shape of your clipping mask is going to be, and it could be literally anything. So I can either take any of these presets here. So let's go with the star tool, and I'm going to go ahead and click and drag this out to create a shape that's going to become my clipping mask. Now the trick to the clipping mask is when you first get this out, it has to be on top of everything. So you want to make sure everything is on where it needs to be, but you want to make sure that this clipping mask is on top. So I have these grouped together, so that way it's one solid object according to Illustrator, or a group of objects counted as one. And then I'm going to go ahead and select both the group layer and the star layer. So even if I decide to do it this way, where I click on the group and then click on the star, that's perfectly fine as well. So I'm going to go to my object, and I'm going to go to clipping mask. I'm going to say make, or you could do a Control-7 to do that. And what that does is it creates that clipping mask, so you're hiding everything underneath it and just showing what's going to be in the drop dead center. So I know not everything is going to be deleted, because if I double click on this, I'm going to go into isolation mode, which is going to just isolate the object that I'm working with. And then from here, I can move these around. So I can easily take this around and take a look at what they look like inside that star and then drop it down. I can also still take my direct selection tool and select individual objects within the clipping mask, and you can see where all those shapes sit into play. Now, this is not just dedicated to only shapes you already created in Illustrator. I can also take imagery that I have decided to put into Illustrator, and I can say, all right, I want to do a rounded ellipse, excuse me, into here. And I'm going to do it drop dead center to the shape. I'm going to say it's going to be as big as I can. Again, there it is. I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to go to Object, Clipping Mask, and Make. And boom, I have that object there. Now, this doesn't have, like I said before, it's not dedicated strictly to preset objects. I can also make my own weird looking object that I want. And I can do that there. And I can again select them both. Object, clipping mask, and make. Boom. So I have both of those there. Now, in the layers panel, what it's going to look like is very similar to the group panel, but it's going to be labeled as a clipping group. These clipping groups are going to house both the clipping path itself and the actual object itself. So you can still edit the actual shape if you need to, but it's just going to be a little bit harder because you're not going to see any of the anchor points right off the bat. So from here, I can take my direct selection tool, select the anchor point, and I can move these in if I needed to, or move it out if I need to, and so forth. So you have the ability to edit those if you need to, and so forth. You may need to isolate the object if you need to, so keep that in mind. But you have the ability there as well. Now the group itself would be labeled underneath there, so you have both of those. Then you can do that. Now, if you want to release it or get it out of the clipping mask, what you could do is you could select the object, go to Object, Clipping Mask, and Release, and it'll take you out of that. Now, this will come back as a non-stroke, non-fill object, and then you can do edits if you need to, or just delete it altogether if you wanted to edit those from there. So again, clipping mask is a great way to mask things, get some things if you wanted to edit or create your own kind of stylization vignette with it, or if you want to house something in there. It's great for your design work if you're dealing with a lot of different styles, shapes, where pictures are not perfect circles or objects not perfect circles. You can easily work around that. Okay, so once again, my name is Tony Arenas, and this has been a video on the clipping mask in Illustrator, and I'll see you in the next video.